Ooh, what's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, Nestlemania alongside for the ride is a man that is just going to say it's just him, Oos.
It's just
Hey,
me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Oh, that was so good. You want me to do it again? Run it back? Encore?
that was the first time I've
Nestlemania.
ever seen that. Jesus.
Um, was that the most unpredictable Royal Rumble winner of all time? And why is the answer yes?
It has to be. It
Yeah,
has to
it's
be.
just like I legitimately shocked. Like I just remember the moment Punk gets eliminated and going, oh, well, I guess they're just going to do Cena without a second thought. And it comes out of Jay and Cena. It's like, oh, this is perfect. You're a top baby face, so you're never going to push to the main event. Runner up in the Royal Rumble. It can be like Liv Morgan. It can be a nice stat for him.
Mhm.
And then Cena's feet hit the floor, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah. To be honest with you, Birdsky and everybody, I am very sick right now. Like deathly ill, and I just don't have the energy to put on full gimmick today. So feel free to take pot shots at me. I won't be able to defend myself as per usual. So there you go.
The sickness scared him straight. His headphones, at least.
Yeah, I am definitely. Whew, yeah, it's a rough day in the Nestle household. So no, look, we got to talk about Royal Rumble. We got to talk about everything that happened on Monday. I guess we can skip SmackDown. We don't have to talk about AEW. We have no predictions, so this is going to be an interesting back and forth here between you and me. I guess we could start off with the Royal Rumble, right? So let's just do that.
Yeah, we'll get to more on Jay in a minute, but obviously the Women's Rumble kicked off the show. The headlines, I'll just run through some of them here. Obviously, Charlotte returns and is the big winner. Roxanne breaks the Iron Woman record from number 3. Loved that. And I believe she was the runner-up to Charlotte there at the end. So I was rooting for her, but even though I figured it'd be Charlotte. Alexa Bliss's return, despite what the dirty loser sheets say, it was awesome. Probably the biggest pop of the night in terms of an entrance. NXT well represented with Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Jada Parker, along with Roxanne and Lash Legend. Trish Stratus surprise return. Nikki Bella at 30. We know Bertsky loved that. He's probably still very excited about that. I thought Chelsea Green was one of the stars of the Rumble with all the moments she had. Piper obviously eliminating her. The black female moment that she slid into was a perfect meme thing. So yeah, I thought this overall was a fun Rumble. Was it sloppy? Of course. I feel like the women's rumbles a lot of times are, but like I say every year, this is the Rumble where we get a lot of the surprises, a lot of the NXT talent, and a lot of I feel like they have more creative ability in this match with random things and feuds just because there's a lot less. Like the men's one is just so set in a certain way that I thought this was a fun Rumble.
You're burying the lead in the women's Rumble because, in my opinion, it was dog shit because PFC was like fucking running roughshod.
I mean, I start with the shine, Adam. I'm not gonna like that.
Who the fuck is Adam? No, but
the nice thing is that was early though. So then we got rid of those.
The minute they washed their hands of it, I was like, finally, now we can enjoy this thing. Because every time I was watching these 3 bitches beat up people, I was just thinking to myself, really? They can't even get on television and they're fucking beating up motherfuckers in this Rumble. What the fuck am I watching? And then of course it got way better after that. But it was bringing my piss to a boil. It was rough. So
yeah, they stink for sure, and it was kind of funny. I watched with a bunch of casuals, so they were big fans of Chelsea Green and Stephanie Vaquer were the takeaways there, but also they thought it was funny that WWE just sticks all the lesbians in the same faction. So there's my note on PFC.
Who are you watching with? I'm curious because it might decipher.
Well, Doc was there, who you know, and then our pal Mort, our boy Mac, and then who you met also as well. And then Mr. Talkie Boy, Frank, who said he will never watch wrestling again if Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. And Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. So we all win for that.
So he's going to go back on what he said, I assume, because...
he's just going to watch dorks like us on YouTube break down wrestling as opposed to watch it and then fake watch it because, that's how people work.
So I just wanted to say Chelsea Green did a great job. What we call it in the biz, the general in the ring, because she took everybody's moves the minute they walked in and she was directing traffic a lot of the time. So I was watching it going, look at her go. Like that's the thing. Like she has all the humility in the world. And I was just so happy to see her get her moment. So I was just really excited to see that, and then even Jordynne Grace looked great. I thought that was wonderful.
I forgot to mention that as well.
Jordynne Grace was great. I mean, there was just so many things that I was in there going, okay, like, yes, the PFC thing was really bad, but like you said, it was only a chapter. It wasn't the full book. So I'm okay with it. Obviously Charlotte came out looking like Cher. or Joe's mom, if he would tell you. That's what Joe would
Yeah,
tell you.
we could tell kind of by the vignettes and some pictures she's posted people online that she's clearly had a lot of work done on the
Yeah.
face. Which remember, she's been out with an injury for over a year, and you never know what
Yeah.
people go through. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those, and we can talk about Monday when we get there. But it's just like we're gonna pop for a Charlotte return, but immediately after that, you know where that's headed because Charlotte's maybe the greatest woman heel of all time. So get back to shoveling, bitch, and let us hate you.
The golden shovel, if we
Yep.
will. We can talk more about that on Monday and maybe Tuesday. I didn't watch all of Tuesday, so you're gonna have to fill me in on what was great there. But so
All of
Charlotte
it.
won.
It's NXT, bro.
Anyway, the next match, I believe, was a tag team extravaganza.
Yes, 2 out of 3 falls match. DIY defeated the Motor City Machine Guns thanks to a little help from the Street Profits, who it seemed like when they attacked the Machine Guns, they turned heel, but then they also had business for DIY. So I'm curious if it's an actual heel turn or it's just they're trying to give them an edge again because they were kind of heels with Lashley, but then they weren't. But this just got me thinking of like, man, we are setting up for a multi-tag team match at WrestleMania, and JC's excited for that.
So do you feel like, I'm just curious, you're excited for it, but like it takes away from the tag team wrestling aspect of it, doesn't when it's multiple
I get that
teams?
every week on SmackDown, though. That's been my favorite part of SmackDown every week, a show which I think has been very mid for the most part for 3 hours. But the highlight to me is I get good tag team wrestling every week. We get at least like about one of these teams, is usually the Machine Guns have been featured a lot, get like a 15-minute match of just glorious tag team wrestling. Something we used to get from AEW that we don't really get as much anymore, but it's just like, that's where I get it. When I get to WrestleMania, Nestlemania, I would be fine with a fatal 4-way ladder match with the tag teams every fucking year. Just put it in and let me watch the chaos because WrestleMania is so much about the stars. So just giving them the crash and burn match, I think, is a great way to include a lot of people.
That's fair. I really liked the part of DIY having the fake tag at the beginning. I thought that was a wonderful little doodad. I love that. And of course, I have a big soft spot in my heart for Alex Shelley. So anytime Alex Shelley does something, I'm gangbusters for that man. I could do without Chris Sabin, but it's fine.
Yeah, I like Sabin better than Shelley. So there we go.
You do? Interesting.
I mean, I think that they're both very good. And I do agree with some people's criticism where in WWE, they really haven't shown much character. They're just relying on them being really good, which I think is fine. But at some point, to fully embrace the WWE style, we do have to give those two more than just like, hey, we're good wrestlers, you know? So
raise your fist, raise your fist, raise your fist.
Yeah.
It's fine. Moving on, the car crash of the evening. Of course, his nutsack is going to be right on your mouth. Cody Rhodes beats KO. And as I was watching this, because I didn't watch it live, obviously, as you guys made fun of me last week for being on a therapist couch, I watched this and I immediately thought of you because as I was watching this, I was just like, here are two guys. Here are two guys who are fucking insane. Like nobody's going to stop them and go, hey, maybe don't do that. They're like,
and even if they did, they wouldn't listen.
Like just watching him do the suplex onto the ladder and then way Cody just like stood up and then fell over. I was just like, this is the golden goose. And he's taking bumps like that. And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you're a
he's my golden goose, baby, because this is what I was looking forward to in this match. Cause I'm like, these guys are legit, like super close in real life. Always have been. They both have always been like, kind of like willing to do stupid shit. And the trust factor with each other, I'm like, what are they going to have in store for us? And my God, Nestlemania, both of them. Just like, to me, this is match of the year so far. It's only February 6th, or no, 5th. I already changed my calendar. But it's February 5th, so it's obviously very early. But this match was it was so much fun. But yeah, I mean, I did get a little bit of the cringies every time because I'm like, please don't die, Cody. Please don't die, Cody. Please don't die, Cody. But I mean, look at Cody and KO. They're probably two of my top 5 favorite wrestlers right now. So I knew I would love this, and I thought it over-delivered from my expectations. So
the Alabama slam at the end was just like it. I know from experience taking one of those is just like it hurts. Yeah. But then you look at going through well, it was a pre-broken ladder, but it still hurt.
It was the gimmick Woody type one.
But man,
still fucking hurt.
As we call it in my circle, the kaboom of the week. Like it really was the kaboom of the week. I mean, it's when I watched that and then I saw him climb. And then of course, like the Sami Zayn aspect of it is just interesting to me because I didn't think he was really going to get involved. He didn't really get involved. And of course, it can transpire over to what we talk about on Monday. But I was just so interested to see because we've talked about Fight Forever with those two. But it's interesting because you think you get tired of it. But I don't. The aspect is just it switches every time. It's like you're a heel, you're a babyface, you're a heel. But it works. It works. And I still am holding out hope with that Karrion Kross interaction with Sami Zayn, that Sami is going to end up with KO, heel, with Mac, and maybe a Seth or a Dom. I think would be an interesting, all of those things. That's all.
Well, here you go. You ready for this? Because I think a lot of people, especially what happened Monday, which we can talk about, is they think like, oh, this will be the WrestleMania match. Think about this Nestlemania. What did Sami fail to qualify for? Is that end of the month or next month?
Yeah.
The Chamber.
Yep.
Where is it?
Montreal.
No, I believe it's Toronto.
Toronto, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Where are both Sami and KO from?
Canada.
Wouldn't you think you'd want them on the card?
Sure.
How fucking big would a match between Sami Zayn and KO in Toronto be?
Pretty big.
Yeah, because neither of them are going to be in the Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
As we saw with Sami, unless they do like some second chance bullshit. So it's just like, that's where you do the singles match. And then is where we fully start to get in the road of WrestleMania, whether it's him end up, like you said, teaming with a KO and a Drew and maybe doing like a faction type thing going or something like that. Or maybe it's just him and KO like as a tag team again. I think that to me, that's immediately what I thought is like, okay, this is where we're headed. But yeah, like including him in the match was interesting, but he didn't really get involved, which is obviously why KO did what he did on Monday. But it's that thing where it's just like you're wrapping up something that's so amazing, but in this Triple H era, he's already 3 steps ahead with what's coming next. So it's just seamless. It's like he said, he's like, we don't end after WrestleMania. This never ends. The stories never end. So it's just like, even though we're wrapping up this big moment, tomorrow we have to continue. So it's like we're already moving forward. And I love that. I love that about this era with Triple H.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to because, like you said, it just keeps on rolling. And I think that's the best part is that he's thought about things way far more in advance. And we can joke about the Karrion Kross thing all we want, but
I mean, I love it. You know how I feel about him.
I just feel bad because, like, in NXT, he got like the fucking rocket ship. Yeah. And then obviously that was COVID and whatever. And then he left and he came back. Hasn't really found his footing. But the more I watch him, the more I think to myself, like, here's a guy that I didn't want to see on my TV. And now when I'm watching him, I'm like, you know what? I do like the idea of him being like, oh, when you encounter him, you're on the way to turn. And I like that aspect of his character. I just wish he was better in the ring in terms of not making me fall asleep. That's all.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I think they finally found his role. Like in NXT, yeah, he could play main eventer, but main roster, he's not. This is a way, and it's just like it's like they reference it all the time. Like this person came across Karrion Kross, this team, like whatever, and it changed them. So it is a beautiful thing. But Nestlemania, as we mentioned earlier, in the main event, the Men's Royal Rumble, Jey Uso, the most shocking Rumble winner ever, was obviously the biggest headline, and we will get to that. But I thought this match, for the most part, was a blast. There was a ton of moments. Obviously, the Ray Penta to kick off was, I thought, very cool. We even got an appearance from Joe Hendry. We got Speed coming in for Tozawa and Braun hitting one of the greatest spears in the history of wrestling. We got returns from the likes of like AJ Styles. You had some craziness at the end. Obviously, we mentioned Punk earlier, being out earlier than we thought, but like Drew unceremoniously dumped out by Priest, and this is like some potential drama there. And just it's obviously Logan Paul doing his thing, coming in at 30, and he eliminated, I think, did he eliminate Punk, Reigns, and Rollins? Did he get all 3 of them? He at least got 2 of them.
Punk got Rollins and
that's right. Punk got Rollins and Reigns, and then Logan got Punk. Okay, that's what it was. So yeah, there was a ton of stuff going on here. But for me, obviously, besides the shocking of Jey Uso winning, I loved the Braun Fatu stare off because obviously Jacob Fatu had a big show, and I love that. But the moment with Speed, it's like this is how you know WWE gets it, because like so many companies are looking like, how do we expand our reach? How do we expand our reach? Well, WWE has found the way to expand their reach to that young audience that most media cannot reach because they literally watch people just stream their daily lives. Speed is one of those guys that like blew up during the pandemic, and WWE has embraced them. It brought him and Kai, and just putting Speed in the Rumble and letting him do what he did best. Like you see the views on YouTube, and I can't tell you how many times I've watched this clip every time it does, because Braun fucking murders this kid, and the kid just fucking gets the what to do. He's just like, you play dumb and like you take the injury and walking around on crutches and this and that. It just like, that was such a fun moment. It is something that a clip that whenever it'll come up, I'll just watch it.
Fair enough. I will say something that was very interesting to me was kind of the ending, right? Like we talked about it, but like I guess we can get into it. Is there anything else about the Rumble before we get into this?
We can dive into it. Yeah.
Okay. So as I was watching this, and I stayed off Twitter as best I could because I couldn't watch it live. I knew what happened. I was shocked when I found out what happened, obviously.
You thought you were being pranked.
I honestly thought I was. And then, of course, TJ in the thread was like, Nestle's not going to like this. However, I've probably watched the ending to this match, no lie, at least 10 times. And I've dissected it in my brain over and over and over again. And this was like quintessential John Cena. Like when I was watching this, I was just like, he was doing the whoa, whoa, whoa on the apron. He was doing the wacky nonsense. It's just like, it was the greatest hits of John Cena. And the only thing that bothered me about the entire thing was that it ended in kind of a shove. He landed and it was just like, oh shit, I won. Oh shit, I won. Which was like, I get it, like the overall, but I felt like when he landed, I was hoping there would be something else, but it's peanuts because the reaction is what they wanted. And that's really what matters. And to see him win was like, okay. And we talked about this last week, how they did a great job having everybody have importance for why they could win the Rumble. And even Jey Uso came out and said, y'all, I can beat him. I know I can beat him. So I think, I don't know, none of us know, they could, turn it on a dime. I would assume that Gunther and Jey Uso is the match.
Yeah, he referenced Jackie interviewed him right after the Rumble. He kind of said he wanted to show out Gunther. He said at the presser. Obviously on Monday they have him do the thing where it's like, oh, I got to do, but I would say 99.9999999999999% that it is Gunther. And what is Gunther beat him? He beat him several times for the IC title, for the heavyweight title now. So it just like, but regardless of how that match is, it'll be good because it's a Gunther match. It'll be a moment, and I think it'll probably be a pretty cool moment.
I think so. I think when I was really my knee-jerk reaction was Jesus Christ. And then I watched it and I watched it and I watched it and I went, I saw someone tweet this out and I'm sorry, I don't know who wrote it. It's not an original thought of mine, but it's really important that it put in perspective for me when I was watching this. Cause I got hot for like a second, obviously, cause I'm me. And then I was like, wait a minute. Like they thought about this very, very much. It wasn't that like the Rumble's not usually a throwaway, like in terms of the winner. Some of the actual action is, but they said, look at the way that the paying customers respond to Jey Uso.
Yes.
Not what the dorks on the internet say. Look at the way that the paying customers on Raw and pay-per-views
the actual fans of the product.
Right.
Yes.
And I was like, that's such a good way to put it. Because we knew that we didn't want John Cena to win. Like that adds to the whole
John Cena
thing. Yeah, which makes sense. Would it have been Punk? That would have been great. I don't think Rollins or Reigns should have won anyway. I think they're too good at their job. They don't need it. So like, and the other thing that we've talked about a lot, JC, over the years, because you and I have been friends for a very long time, even though you don't like to tell people that. We used to talk about how the Money in the Bank was a thing where it was like, you didn't reach the threshold yet. This was your breaking through the glass ceiling. But before that, when we were younger, the Rumble was like the guy you wanted finally wins the Royal Rumble and finally breaks the glass ceiling and whatever. So this made me feel like it harkened back to those days of like, and I know I'm going to get shit for this, but like the only thing I can think of is like when Shawn Michaels finally got there, when Austin finally got there, when Batista finally got there, like, it's probably not in the same vein, but it feels that way where like the guy everybody likes finally gets to that point of like, oh, he's in the main event of WrestleMania and now he's coming.
Yeah. And I kind of want to hit on what you said there too about the fans. Cause obviously the YouTube dislikes thing was a big thing, but like, think about this. Like if for when something first happens, something like that to get posted, the people that are watching on YouTube were probably the people that weren't watching live and therefore probably not the biggest wrestling fans. So, and the majority of people who comment on things and react to things on the internet, like usually it's for negative reasons. So obviously the Charlotte one is what it is. That's always going to happen. But the Jey one, I think it's more of that because, and I think it's something like obviously on this program, we have made fun of Jey Uso. We have been critical of Jey Uso. We've called him mid-event Jey Uso, yada, yada. But it's one of those things like the more it's gone on, it was just kind of like the Saturday Night Main Event, get a shot at Gunther. I'm like, no matter what they do or how many times he loses, like people just like him. This dude just like he's just over. And besides Cody, like people go to an event because they want to see him. They want to do the entrance. They want to yeet. Hell, on Monday we'll talk about it. He got a fucking encore for his entrance because it's just so much fun. Like the guy's fun, and that's the guy that you want to be chasing a title going into WrestleMania, and then being the guy coming out of WrestleMania to start to sell out your shows and be the draw and be the reason why people want to go because they get to eat, they get to put on the sunglasses. The guy comes through the fucking crowd. Like it makes so much sense. And his rise just hasn't stopped. No matter what they did to him booking wise, it didn't matter. The guy was just still over. So I give them fucking credit for being like, you know what? Let's pull this fucking trigger. We have one of a great dominant heel right now as a champion, which is the perfect folly for someone like Jey Uso. It is an underdog story. It is the easiest story to write in wrestling. It is the easiest story to book. It is the easiest story to get people behind. And it's just like, we have it. So let's just do it. And I give them credit for doing it. And look at how many times do we say this? Even if I don't like something in wrestling, when they can legitimately shock me and surprise me, I love that. Because in this internet age of wrestling, it's so hard. So when you do get the moments like this, especially at the biggest event of the year, like the Rumble, I was blown away. And I just liked it more and more. Because at first it was shock, but then it turned into, I like this. And it's like, we've been two of the biggest Jey Uso critics, like most people. But it's just like, at some point, you just to be like, look, it didn't stop. So you know what? Pull the trigger. They did. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, look, Gunther is really good. Jey is probably not actually on his level, but it doesn't matter when you're this over. It really doesn't.
I mean, I look at it this way, and I know this is not the real comparison, but it feels like the reason they love Daniel Bryan was for the yes chant, right? Yeah. I mean, Jey Uso is Daniel Bryan without the technical wrestling ability, essentially. Like, but he's over in terms of like merchandise, over with reactions, like to get an encore entrance like that on Monday. I mean, unless you have anything else, we can roll.
Always in the shine, an entrance like that gets an encore. That's where we're starting the show. Yeah, he's so over.
I mean, when I looked at that, I was like, and our friend, I won't say his name, but he said that happened a couple of times on Dark Match, when he was filming something, and he said it was really fun. So I mean, like the crowd loves him. I mean, he's not John Cena. You know what I mean? But he
never will be. And he's not even like Cody, but it's like he's his own thing.
Yeah.
And he can be, when you have two shows and you need a guy on each show, like this is perfect. Perfect. Especially when you have a heel champion like this.
Yeah.
He's the perfect guy right now.
And I think I'll be full honest on the table here. When I saw what happened on Saturday in the Rumble, I was a little perturbed, watched it a bunch, talked myself into calming myself down. And then when Monday happened with his promo, I'm a sucker for those real moments, and the emotion, and when he started, like you could hear,
I got a little dusty.
when you hear the stutter and like the not being able to get the words out, and like you could tell that like I think his name's Josh. One of them's Josh. I can't remember, but like I'm gonna say it's Josh. But like let's just say like that's a real person right there for like a second, and you just sat there and he's like, thank you for sticking by me and hanging out. Like he didn't even win yet. Like, you know what I mean? But it was like almost the acceptance speech for winning WrestleMania. And I was just, when I watched that, I went, like, I get choked up. I'm a softie. I know you probably don't think that, but that promo to me was more important than the Rumble win. And I know you needed the Rumble win to make that moment, but watching him have that moment made me go, wow. Like there's no argument. Like that Monday was the definitive stamp. Like there's no argument anymore, regardless of how you feel.
Yeah, it's one of those that just and that's why I like the internet thing. I always laugh at because it's like the majority of the people here that are crying and complaining aren't watching. It's like they don't care. Like it's just one of those things. It's like you're giving it attention, so they win anyways. But it's just like they judge it, and it's just, I mean, Ray, our boy Ray has told us this forever, been like going to these events. It's just like, it's the hysteria, the hoopla for it is just so high. And like, you see it on TV, but it just like, it hasn't stopped. If anything, it has gotten bigger and bigger, especially on Raw, because Cody hasn't had to be on the show as much anymore. I mean, obviously you got CM Punk over there and stuff like that too, but it's like a big reason is like, you can roll out at the end of the show with Jey Uso and all this because it's just like the entrance is working, that you don't have to rely on everyone else as much because he's here now. Like he has leveled himself up, and we can still feel however we want about him in the ring, but it doesn't matter. Like he, as a character, has leveled up, and he's truly finally the main event guy.
The last time I cried was over Von Wagner getting released. Actually, I cried over Duke Hudson getting released this week. So that's
Yeah, he had a good vignette. Also, I wore this shirt on purpose because I mean we were both like kind of critical of Jey Uso, but the fact that you were, maybe it's a Nestle curse. I don't know.
I don't know.
But it just I'm sure there's many things that were Nestle cursed. But yeah, you probably cursed poor Duke Hudson too. But I mean, unfortunately,
no. Listen, come on.
I think I told you when they broke up Chase U, I said Theo will be repackaged, and sadly Duke will probably be released because he was supposed to be released the first time. Then he got lucky because that other dude fucked up, and they just stuck Duke in his role, and I think kind of saved his job.
Yeah. Well, at least for the time being. I think TNA is a good spot for him, honestly.
I think it's perfect. The minute I saw him like this character, and then when I saw the vignette, even more so, I'm like, he will be a stud in TNA.
And I think he'll figure it out. I think
he's got enough
charisma that he can figure it out. I mean, he's not going to be a world champion, but I think he
could be in TNA.
TNA maybe.
He's a world champion.
Maybe. You know, I just by the way, like we can talk about Alexa Bliss being the pop of the night, but when Joe Hendry's song came,
oh yeah, it's just
I was just like, it made me feel so good because you wonder if it's just like, oh, it's just a thing, it's passe or whatever. Nope, like it's him. Like,
yeah, and we saw it in NXT, but yeah, obviously the Rumble is the bigger stage. But the coolest part of that for me was just watching Sheamus the entire time. Because it just like you could tell, like it just like he thought how cool it was too, just soaking it in, and to see someone like Sheamus who's been whatever, and I mean they might have a relationship too, who knows? But it was kind of cool to see him just like kind of sit in the corner and kind of like take it in. So just like stuff like that, I think it made it even more because you can obviously tell with Joe Hendry running down, like he's literally living his dream, like he's been living it for like a year, but this is like the pinnacle moment, and just like it was cool. Like, and that's why we love the Rumble, because you get moments like that, even though they're the most predictable thing in the world. When you see it, it's magical. Yeah.
And the thing is, he's not necessarily the best wrestler in the world.
He's not a good wrestler at all. But he's very mediocre.
But it doesn't matter because he'll just figure it out. You know, some people just figure it out. I don't know. Anything else that's positive you want to talk about?
Anything else that's positive? I would say so, Nestlemania, because we got two JC guys in a banner. It set up in the Rumble when Penta eliminated him, but Penta versus Ludwig, right here, baby. I thought this was a banner. I enjoyed this. I was excited. The minute I saw him eliminate him, like, I hope we get that match on Monday, and we did. I don't really care as much about what happened after because he already beat Pete Dunne and whatever, but Ludwig got his shit back after he lost like we expected, beat him up a little bit. But I was just excited to see this matchup because anytime you put two studs in the ring together on a Monday, it's shine, baby.
I'm curious to see what happens with Pete Dunne because you hear whistlings or tea leaves being shaken that say that Tyler Bate is coming back. Tyler Bate. And I don't think Tyler Bate can be a heel. He's just, look at him. He's just goofy. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If Johnny Gargano can be an effective heel, I think anybody can, honestly. So maybe I'm wrong.
I think Bate could pull it off, but it's just, I don't know. It's, because maybe they try it just because I don't know what his upside is on the main roster yet. Like, the character just isn't established, and it's easier to kind of get over as a heel. So maybe do that before he can flip back, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I feel like Phoenix isn't that close, so I don't know why you do the tag team thing. You know what I mean? But right. I guess Bate versus Penta is a banner, so you just do that.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair enough. Something that I thought was very, 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 very good this week. I can't believe I'm actually doing this. Full 180. That New Day song was fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, welcome.
Like, I was when I heard that song, I went, that has to be in the gym mix immediately. Like, the minute I heard it, I was like, this is quite possibly a top 10 of all time song.
I don't know about that, but
like just the way it was like New Day, like just the way they did it, I was just like, this is it. Like, I get it. I don't get the rest of it, right? But like the music and the presentation was like, this is great. Fucking,
and they won.
Great. They did win.
They beat the current and future of Lucha Libre in Ray and Dragon Lee. Welcome back, Dragon Lee. Possible comeback opportunity. It was because of some Logan Paul shenanigans because Mysterio and Paul are in a chamber qualifier next week, but still, it was nice to see New Day looking to a ring.
Can I just say, it doesn't matter, but it is, again, me being nitpicky Nestle. As I was watching it on Monday, I thought to myself, The Latino World Order doesn't really do anything for me, but it's saying the Lucha World Order would do something for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't think they're gonna change it because it's
No.
just like it's supposed to be a callback, and
No,
as long as Rey Mysterio is wearing the shirt, it'll keep everyone else employed. So
fair enough. Fair enough. That's fine. Fair enough. That's fine.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of anything else that was really exciting.
My last piece of shine was the main event. Punk and Sammy, first time ever. It's crazy because we've talked about how KO and Sammy has never happened, but I mean KO and Punk had never happened, but Sammy and Punk had never happened. So I thought it was cool. They did it for a main event, a qualifier, did what it needed to do. Punk gets the win. Now on the graphic, we have Punk and Cena as the first two in. Check mark. And then we get KO beating the shit of Sammy after the match because he didn't help him. So it just like onward and upward, but it was just like, I thought it was just good. I like whenever you get a first time ever with guys like that have been wrestling this long, it's always shocking, but I thought it was good.
Fair enough. I don't really have much to add there because as I watched the main event, I thought, okay, yeah, CM Punk, he's definitely going to win. And then the KO thing was nice. I love the Sami Zayn Forever t-shirt from Jackass a couple of years ago, which would imply that they're going to continue to fight forever. But KO should have been dead. Like, that's my one thing. It was like he killed himself on Saturday, but showed up and still hobbling around on Monday. But again, it's fine.
Well, the nice thing about Saturday is it's not Sunday, so he had an extra day. And all he had to do was attack him. He wasn't a fair fight, so.
That's fine. That's fine. Anything else, or would you like to get TV? Get him off my TV, get him off my TV, get him off my TV. There are some awkward things in wrestling, but none more awkward, in my opinion, than a Charlotte Flair promo. Like, watching the crowd boo her and be like, I still missed you guys. I'm like, just stop. Just stop. Just fucking stop.
You don't need a moment, Charlotte. We love you because we love to boo you because you are the perfect heel. So just embrace it. Just
be a bitch.
She got her flowers on NXT a little bit because that crowd's more forgiving and that's where she grew up because she is a WWE original there. But it just like it's one of those like in front of like a regular crowd. It's like you already came back. You won your first match back, a big match. So what do you expect is going to happen? But it's like she's going to fully embrace it again. I think it just like it's always tough when you see because you go out there with the script that you were given or that you came up with and you want to have just a heartfelt moment. And it just like they didn't let her get through that. But it's just like, I think she is as bulletproof as they come in terms of that. So she probably was ready for it. And it was what it was. But I'll have more on Charlotte in my hope, but let's just get that heel shit going right away.
I will say it's interesting because, I mean, she's going to pick somebody soon, but it's interesting to me whether it's Jey Uso or Charlotte. Are we waiting before Elimination Chamber for them to pick? Like, usually we know pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would assume that the only reason that they haven't done it yet is because obviously they want to put them on all three shows. It's just part of it because it's like for the networks or whatever. Because it's like we know Jay is doing Gunther. He pretty much said it, but it's like and then he had to play Coy on Monday because they want him to go to SmackDown and they want to have the interaction with Cody because that's literally how when Yeet was invented was when he was alongside Cody and all that. So it's just like it's that, but. I would think that one happens pretty quickly. And they even referenced with whoever he was talking to being like, yeah, well, when I win the chamber, then I get to face whoever you don't, you know what I mean? So I think we'll know before then. Charlotte, they could take a little longer, but who knows? Something could happen Friday, but she's already been on 2 of the shows. But I could see them dragging hers out a little more.
Something that I'm excited for, but I don't know if I like the way that it transpired, is that we're seeing that there's some, foreshadowing here with Rhea Ripley and Io, which again, I like. It'll be a great match.
I think that's the chamber match, don't you think?
So here's my thought. I feel like maybe that's a chamber match. However, I could see a world in which, okay, she cost Io her match. There's a last chance match. Io comes in, wins the whole damn chamber, and then we have Io versus, like, you know what I mean? You could span it out a little bit like that. Because as I was looking at the roster, there's plenty of people. I'm not buying Charlotte against Rhea right now. I feel like that's too on the nose. So I feel like they like Io enough to give her the shot. She won't win, but she'll
I mean, I think we talked about a lot last week that feels like the more open one, assuming they go the other direction. But I don't know. I think there's probably dominoes that haven't fallen yet in terms of potential returns and things that could happen. And who knows, man, they could, none of these, some of these might not be singles matches either. Like one of these could be, this could be a multi-person match. We've seen it happen plenty of times by whatever many way, and Io could certainly be involved in that. But to me, it just felt like maybe they do Rhea and Io, whether it's on a big Raw or they do it at Chamber, because it just, since she kind of screwed her, it feels like, well, Rhea's probably going to fight again before WrestleMania. So it's just like they kind of set it up like that. But who knows? I mean, with the way WrestleMania is now, and obviously Io is always over as a babyface. She was in a big match last year as well. Like she's someone that's always liked. They rely on her. You can always tell the first couple people out in the Rumble, especially in the women's, that tells you they rely on you to go out and take all the spots. But yeah, I feel like that one's going to come before. But unless if they do a multi-woman, it's always possible. But I don't know.
Our boy, the Joe Stopper, saying, do we get Becky at Elimination Chamber? I don't.
That is kind of my thought, is that Becky could factor back in. Because it's one of those, they probably felt at the Rumble is like, look, we got plenty of surprises. She's not going to win. We could save this for something else. So
I would still venture a guess, if I had to, that it would be she's not in the Chamber and that she shows up the night after. Because she doesn't need to be in the world title picture. She's kind of at that point where she doesn't need anything. Yeah. So I think she's about giving back and having the best matches she possibly can have. I mean, maybe she went away and worked on her leg drop. I don't know.
Who knows? There's a lot of interesting things. It's also Nikki Bella said she kind of wants to come back more too. So that's always a factor. If she comes back, she'll be in big matches. So it'll be interesting. But my only real heat this week, Nestlemania, was this was the first really glitchy show we had on Netflix this week. There was they had a lot of transmission issues. It kind of ruined a lot of the end of the show a little bit there, because it was in and out. We hadn't really seen this yet. It's been pretty smooth, but for whatever reason, this week they had a lot of issues. So I have to put it in my heat because it's something we got to monitor as we continue down this road of streaming.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely took me out of it. Thank God I can fast forward. I wasn't watching live. I don't know. Do you watch live?
I actually watched mostly live on Monday, but I still do it late. But then sometimes when I fast forward, that's how I miss some of those promos coming out of the commercials.
Fair enough.
Because it's not like TV where I can see what's happening. It's more of like that's my only thing that I don't like as much.
Totally understandable. I get that. Anything else, or would you like to get hopeful?
Glorious, you're my only hope, and I will go first in Nestlemania because mine is about Charlotte winning the Rumble. You know what? We've been saying it, but I think I just need to make it my hope because they're obviously teasing Charlotte Rhea. They're teasing Charlotte Julia, but it's Charlotte Tiffy. And I'm ready for them. Like, pull the trigger on Friday, set it up, and they probably won't. They'll probably drag it out more, but that's the match. That's what we want. Pretty simple, pretty easy. It's the match, like, literally, when we saw Tiffany Stratton, we're like, someday she's going to be in a WrestleMania match against Charlotte Flair. Like, that's the match you want to see, because she's that type of character. She feels like it could be not so much a baton passing, but like maybe a little bit. But it's just one of those, like, this is the biggest match for Tiffany. That's always been my biggest thing. People are like, oh, Charlotte, another main event. Charlotte getting this. It's like, yeah, but do you not realize that it's not always about Charlotte? This is about like how Charlotte gives back. Because what is the biggest match possible for Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania? It's Charlotte fucking Flair. No matter what you think, she is the biggest name. She's the most dominant women's champion of all time. Whether Tiffany wins or loses, she will be on marquees with Charlotte Flair. And that is a big match. Tiffany's already getting over with the people who've seen her, but as you continue to work in more people in the WrestleMania seasons, this is how you build new stars. You put the one that you're trying to build against your most established, and that's what Charlotte is. Rhea's already established. We've already seen this match twice at WrestleMania. They were great. One of them was a match of the year, but it's like, it's Tiffy time. So that's why Charlotte Tiffy has to be the match. Hashtag JC knows. Hashtag JC's hopes come true. Hashtag JC knows what time it is.
It's clobbering time.
No,
absolutely.
Time.
No, okay. Well, Mandy
he has to win the chamber. Tiffy's already in.
Mandy Rose got hot that your girl Tiffy stole her line, even though
I will say, I know, but I think Mandy's cool with it. That was one of her girls in NXT. She cultivated this crop of greatness. Yeah. She would have also been a much better number 30 than Nikki Bella. But
oof! I hope Bernsky's gonna wake up from his nap and get mad at you. Whatever.
I love Nikki Bella, but she's no Mandy Rose.
You can look, but you can't touch. You know what I mean? So, my hope is very simple. As I was watching the Royal Rumble, I went, "Ooh, I like it." There was a moment in the Royal Rumble where Jordan Grace and Naomi, or Trinity, had a moment, and then Belair just grabbed her by the back of the head and was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And as I saw that, I went, I don't think we're going to know exactly what happens, but I want to live in a world where either Jordynne Grace and Naomi, or just either or both, are the reason that, Jade got taken out. And then you have the match at WrestleMania where it's Jordynne Grace and Naomi against Jade and Belair. I think that's an interesting matchup. You can call back to all of their things. Maybe you can figure out who's the tag champs at that point. I don't know. But it would be so interesting to me because I feel like Jordynne Grace is so much better at being the muscular wrestler than Jade is. It's just Jade has the aura and the presence. But Naomi is kind of lost in the shuffle here, and I hope that they put the spotlight back on Naomi a little bit because I think she's the conduit throughout this entire thing.
She's the catalyst, right?
And I think that's important going forward. So when I saw that happen, I was like, oh yeah, give me good Jordynne Grace and Naomi together. I think that'd be so fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like, I think Jordan might end up in NXT, but like, come on, like, does she really need NXT? I don't think so.
She's pretty much been in NXT. She's appeared so much, and maybe they do a short run because they don't want to rush her on the main roster. But I mean, just thinking about that match, obviously you mentioned the Jordan Naomi history, but like Jordynne Grace, Bianca Belair is a mega match. Jordynne Grace staring down Jade Cargill, like you mentioned there, that's posters. Like, so they got a lot of possibilities. Maybe they don't want to rush it, but I think a tag match would be a good way to break it in.
All right. Would you have the comeback?
Don't call it a comeback. He's been here for years, and he wants some Nestlemania. Not only did he get his son back, thank God, but AJ Styles returned at the Royal Rumble. And even more news, as we found out from Adam Pearce on Monday, he has transferred to Raw. But you know who he came across within that Royal Rumble? And instantly I was like, there's your match. AJ Styles, Logan Paul.
Yep.
There it is.
He eliminated AJ Styles, too.
So, yeah, exactly. Done deal. It was easy. AJ's the perfect type of guy to wrestle Logan Paul, where they'll put in a banner, and it just like, look at AJ, he's done everything at this point in his career, so it's just like, this is something else he can chew on here. He'll be a lot of fun doing the tour with Logan Paul after they have their match too. We'll get to see some of AJ's fun personality. I don't know if you saw the TikToks he was doing with Kathy Kelly, but they're pretty fucking funny. But yeah, when I saw them, like, this is the match. So he's getting my comeback. He transfers to Raw where Logan Paul is. It's easy because they're both part-timers. It's an easy match. It'll be super athletic. They'll have some kaboom spots. And it gives them both something, a big match. So I'm all for that. So AJ, you're getting my comeback, bud.
And also AJ Styles will then be getting the rub of Logan Paul, and people will know who he is. So I think that's important because he's been kind of the journeyman for so long. And we all respect him and we love him, but I still don't think he gets his flowers. And I think this is the moment in which everybody that's not a wrestling fan might unearth it. Be like, oh,
yeah. I think casuals definitely know who he is because the TNA hype coming in and stuff. But it'd be cool. And he is a funny guy. He is kind of in that space. Like, he was one of the wrestlers that was big on the streaming during the pandemic and everything too. So he has that type of internet personality, and like, he's just so different from a Logan Paul that I think they could have a lot of fun together.
And teach him some stuff, No,
there you go. I mean, Logan Paul, a lot of his moveset is very similar to AJ, so you can pick up a few things.
And my comeback is Lily.
That fucking doll. I only wasn't outraged because I was so happy to see Alexa and I adore her. But that stupid fucking
when I saw that doll, I was like, totally my comeback because it bothers you to a fucking T. But man, it's not that bad. It looks better than it was.
Fucking creepy, bro.
You don't like Chucky. Ray and I have told you this before.
Fucking Chucky's weird. Get that shit out of my that creepy.
Chucky is one of the greatest horror franchises of all time.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't need to watch a movie about a fucking creepy doll.
I'm gonna buy you a Lily doll, and I'm gonna have it.
I will not accept it.
No, you don't have to accept it. You will accept it.
I will not accept it. I will not accept that.
Okay.
I cannot look at that thing. It will give me nightmares.
That's the idea.
I woke up in the night and I saw that fucking creepy doll looking at me. I don't know, fucking creepy doll.
What if it like changes your life for the better though? Like,
I don't think a creepy doll would change my life for the better.
You never know. I
do know.
I have plenty of creepy dolls in here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it goes with your creepy face. So
that's true. That's very true. I can show you all the bears I've had to take in from my daughter who doesn't listen. There's like 600 bears in there. You can see in the corner over there. I've taken
you can buy her the creepy Lily doll.
Oh, she already has a creepy doll. It's an American Girl doll from like when Nicole was younger. And
Yeah, those things are. My sister had a bunch of those. Those things had fucking creepy eyes too.
Yeah, yeah.
Can't trust those things.
No,
Seen plenty of movies where toys come to life. You know,
any doll.
Yeah,
Just sidebar.
Dolls are creepy, bro.
Any doll that when you put it down, its eyes close, and when you put it back up, its eyes open. Not for me.
Creepy.
That's creepy. That I will agree with. That is creepy.
Yeah.
And the fact that she hides it in the closet sometimes really fucks with me. Like she knows that it scares me. So my daughter is a smart cookie. Let's put it that way. She knows how to pull pranks on her old man. Anyway, so yes, Lily is getting my comeback. I got to figure out how much you think Lily is, by the way, on Shop. It's got to be $35.
Minimum of 35, probably.
You think so?
More. I mean, it's the prices they can put on those things are insane. But
speaking of things to buy, you could go to tpublic.com between now and I think Friday. There's a sale going on, and TJ does yeoman's work for the Jobber Knocker. And tpublic.com, go there, buy it. There's sales. There's 35% off, $17 tees and more. So I think
tpublic.com/jobberknocker. Get yours today.
You could get a tapestry. I think I'm gonna get a Super Hot Fire mug because it just goes with the idea of Super Hot Fire.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of things I can do. My wife always asks me when there's a sale so that she can get more things because then she's like, why does Josh's t-shirts look so comfy and the ones that you buy look so starchy? And I'm like, I don't know.
I get the soft versions.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Like $1 or $2 more, but it's worth it. Like I said, I'm repping my Nestle curse, but I got them all. I haven't got the It's a Fucking Unit yet, so on my next order, that's the plan. But you can get your meat shirts. One of my favorites is the Jobber Knocker with the Dunkin' letters or Dunkin' Donuts. If you're a Northeasterner like us, so you love your Dunks. That's one of my favorites. I got it in brown, so it looks pretty cool. And that's the other great things. You can customize the colors. So that's why I have a pink Lep the Dolphin shirt, but it's so you can customize however you want, because it's cool. But tpublic.com/jobberknocker. And like you said, you can get mugs, shirts, hoodies, tapestries, stickers, magnets, any of that shit.
I forgot about the just all the things that we have up there. Like it's unnecessarily like a large amount of things. Yes. So enjoy yourself and buy something and support the goddamn show, would you? Please.
There you go.
All right. Anyway, anything else?
Big old finish. SmackDown, just the usual shit. Jay and Charlotte will both be there. Cody returned, yada yada yada. But on Raw, we have 2 chamber qualifiers. We talked about Mysterio and Logan Paul. Feels like Logan Paul is a pretty easy qualifier there. And then we have Bayley versus Lyra. I'm assuming Bayley will qualify because Ivy Nile will probably cost Lyra because they're doing that feud. And feels like Bayley should probably be in the chamber.
Or Roxy or Cora Jade could get involved as well.
Roxy's got a lot of enemies now because, she pissed off her BFF Cora, as we saw in NXT last night when she attacked her too. But, if you guys aren't watching NXT every week, it is some hot fire down there.
Mm-hmm. Anything else from NXT you want to bring up before we leave?
They got obviously next week we'll be doing predictions for it's a weird one because they're kind of like cross-pollinating a little bit. The main event is Oba defending the triple threat against A-Town Down Under. So they're kind of doing the storyline where Trick's kind of getting screwed out of his rematch there, but that'll probably be the WrestleMania weekend match is Oba Trick. The women's match is I believe it's triple threat as well. It might be a fatal 4-way if they had Cora, but it's Roxy Bayley taking on Julia. And Fallon and Vaquer, I believe, is booked for the North American. So if you became a big fan of Stephanie Vaquer at the Royal Rumble, you could see her win her first title against Fallon Henley, who is a very much stud that you will enjoy along with her Fatal Influence companions. But there'll probably be 2 more matches added that we'll find out in the next week, whether it's tag team matches or what do we got going on there. So
anytime I see Vaquer, I think dangerous curves ahead.
She's great. Every time she talks, I'm speechless. It's just so good. I love her accent.
Every time I watch her, I'm just like, this can't be real.
Her entrance is actually so perfect for her too. It's one of those there's been a lot more misses than hits lately because of their situation, but the I'm it's just and it's right when it hit in the Rumble, you know who it is immediately. Mm-hmm. But it just they nailed her entrance, which is so important with someone like that, and I love it.
All right, anything else, or we want to get the hell out of here?
We're probably good in Nestlemania. Next week we'll be back to Tuesday. So you'll catch us there Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll have all the reaction from SmackDown and Raw. And you know what? We'll talk about AEW a little bit next week, Joe. I don't know if that's good or bad for you because who knows? The show that's going on right now could be complete shite.
That's true. All right. Well, anyway, thank you for listening and watching the Jobber Knocker podcast. We'll be back next week eating our faces off with more Jobberknockery.
It's just me, Oos.